Snetterton circuit. You joined me here on the 5th of September 2020, so this race is from a few weeks ago. Just coming up, finishing the warm-up lap now, just about to sort of form up for the grid positions. Just to run through the top 10 very quickly if I can. After qualifying, Lee Atkins was first in his TVR, Mark Ashford second, also in a TVR. Third, we had Alan Ross Jones in a Triumph TR4. Fourth on the grid is Mark Holloway in an MGB. Fifth on the grid is Tim Greenhill, also in an MGB. Sixth on the grid was Babak Fazil, also in an MGB. And David Wenman was P7 in a Morgan Plus 4. Neil Fisher, new car for him this year, he's an MGB rather than his usual sprite. He was P8 after qualifying. 7th was Ed Foster in a red MGB. 10th, Harry Wilmot in his MGB. 11th, Colin Kingsnorth in an MGB as well. 12th was Rob Cobham in the Elva Courier. 13th, Nick Mountford in the white TR4. 14th was Steve Winter in an MGB. 15th was Paul Moores with Healy 100. 16th was Barry Holmes, MGB. 17th, Mike Lillywhite, MGB. 18th, Dominic Mooney, MGB. 19th was Mark Turner, Austin Healy's right, then I ended up P20 in my MGB. So I'm just going to go back to the race now. So here we are, formed up on the grid. I think we've got a few cars behind, still just getting into position. So it's just going to be a moment before before those red lights come on. I was a little bit disappointed with 20th after qualifying. I felt I could have gone a little bit better. So I'm going to see how the race goes. I'm trying to make a few positions off the line if I can. I am running a 4-1 diff today rather than my usual 4-3, so the car I just don't think has sort of quite the poke off the line that it usually does. So the revs are starting to rise now. We're going to have a look at the front. The 5-second board has gone out. Red lights go out there, so we're off. It made a reasonable start, but certainly made no positions up. You see Mark Turner there in the 103 Healy spot. He made an excellent start and got through. I think he got sort of 3 or 4 places there. I managed to slot in here between the Healy of Paul Mortimer and also the MGB there of Barry Holmes. So there we go. Around the first corner now. I can see I think it's Rob Cullen in front in his MGB there. So just coming down here, this is Montreal corner, which is sort of a tight hairpin, all through there safely, which is good. Then back up now, so we're going back towards the start finish straight, where this is where the 300 circuit is a little bit different from the 200, because you have this whole infield section as well. It does make it a little bit more interesting. So we're through Palmer Corner now. Then heading down to Agassini, which is sort of a quite tight hairpin. Comes right round back on itself. This left-hander here. So often under braking, the cars can get a little bit squirmy. Then we've got this hard turn to the left there, but all round there safely. Then we're moving sort of back up a very slight hill now. This goes up to Hamilton, which is a corner I really do enjoy. It's a very fast left-hander, and that then goes down to Oggies, which is this sort of a short right-hander here, sort of 90 degree, or just over 90 degrees actually. And then through there onto Williams, which is the next one here. This takes us round and back onto the sort of the main straight. It's the Bentley straight, which if you were doing a 200 circuit would be this makes up the sort of the back straight for that one, or the main straight for the 300. You can see there Paul Mortimer's just got past me in his Healy 100. He has got that sort of straight line speed, so I'm going to sort of struggle to try and sort of match him on these long sections, but I'll get a chance to sort of close up a bit under braking. I think I could get it a little bit closer here, but I think he's well in front, so I'm going to struggle to get that place back from him. Coming through, this is the bomb hole now. Again, it's a great corner, sort of drops down into here, sort of fairly fast through here. I think you could do sort of 70 miles an hour plus through there. And this Coram, which is the sort of a long, fast, sweeping right-hand bend, about sort of 70 to 80 miles an hour through here, then some hard on the brakes as we come into Murray's. This leads back to the start-finish straight, so we're round safely. Coming up to finish the first lap there. I'm probably in around sort of P17, P18, I'm not entirely sure, but we had a lot of cars all doing sort of 227s around the circuit, so it did mean some sort of close racing for the afternoon. So coming to the end of the centre straight here, this is Rich's, 80 miles an hour plus through here. So again, it's a great corner, so double apex. I think as I went through the weekend, I think the best way through there seemed to be sort of missing the first apex, then trying to come in tight onto the second one. So down through the gears now. Montreal, this is again that hairpin there. You can just see Mike Harris behind me. He's having a bit of a battle there with Barry Holmes in his car. It looks like Mike's managed to get past. So here we go, going through Oggies again now. In front of me, that's still Paul Mortimer. I think just in front of him is Dominic Mooney in the red MGB. So back down here, sort of over 90 miles an hour down this short straight here into Agassini. So this is the double gear change, back down to second from fourth. About 40 miles an hour or so through the middle here. That's nice. I've caught up with Dominic Mooney just a tiny bit there. Although I did find out after the race he was having some problems with his rear diff in that MGB through Hamilton. This is that lovely fast corner. I did really enjoy this one. I sort of found trying to get as late as you can on the turn in the late apex and let the car really sort of run wide on the outside of the corner. Through Oggies again there, we'll be dropping down into Williams. Williams about sort of 65, 70 miles an hour through there, pretty much a 90 degree, but sort of fairly open. And it's important to get that exit speed, get the exit speed as fast as you can for this Bentley straight. So along the straight here, I think we sort of top out around about the sort of 110 mile an hour mark. I just see, I think that's Mike Lillywhite behind me. He's closed up a little bit on me there. So just see on the brake here, this is where we go from sort of 110 down to sort of 65 for the first bit, then right down to about sort of 45 for the second bit. So you can see how the cars here are sort of concertinaed up on the brake, all a little bit closer going into the bomb hole. So again, that's a lovely fun corner if you ever do get to drive Snetterton. Now in this corner, I was trying fourth through here, and I think here you can see it did sort of pay dividends for me, managed to catch up with the car in front. It just made the car it made it a little bit more sluggish, but it also meant it was a bit less twitchy through Coram there. Hard braking for Murray's there, so that's like 40 mile an hour corner. You've got a fair bit of work to do as well, because you've got a sort of car that's doing 80 miles an hour wanting to go sideways, and you've got a fair bit of, you haven't got much in the way of room to get from sort of 80 miles an hour back down to 40, and also two gear changes down. So here we go, end of the centre straight. We're going into Richards here, and really I've taken that inside line, which isn't particularly helpful. I think with hindsight I should have just kept behind Dominic there, because the move wasn't on. So down into Montreal again. This is that tight hairpin, sort of turn 2 on the track as you do it, all round there safely. This is where I did find that 4-1 diff I was having. Just didn't 4-1 diff I was running. Just didn't seem to work that well for me here. Just always felt a little bit sluggish coming out. In the second race I even tried first gear, but it just didn't seem to work for me on this circuit. So I think you can see Mike Lillywhite behind in the sort of that British Racing green MGB with the white stripes. He's got a little bit closer to me there. And there's Dominic Mooney in front. You still see Paul Mortimer, so he's not totally driven away from me there. And then back there, up we go, up to Hamilton corner again. And here I'm going to try and keep it sort of as far over to the right as long as I can, then sweep in here. And I really want to use as much of that runoff as I can. So it does make it fast for you. See Mike is close right up on me there, going up into Williams. And then we go round here. See if I've got a rear view again to see where Mike's got to. Now I haven't managed to see a rear view yet, so I don't quite know how close Mike is. I can just see him in the mirror there, so it looks like I might be going to get past Dominic Mooney here. Let's just see. Not sure I've got quite the speed. We see Mike, he's had a great exit from Williams there, so he's going to do that pass on me, I think, before we get to the end straight into Brumley. Yes, there he is. He's on my inside now, so I've given him room, and there he goes, past me safely. There we go, into Nelson there, and round here down into the bomb hole. And I think really that whole move from Mike probably came from back there at the start of the straight, with just getting that corner. Not getting a good corner exit out of there does sort of penalise you later on. So here we are through Coram again, and you can see us all closing up here under brake. As I said previously, you've got a bit of work to do to get round. There's a few sort of, with sets in general, there's quite a few lines to pick from. Trying to pick the right one through Murray's is important. There's a long straight coming up afterwards, so you want to make absolutely certain you get a good exit from there. You see Mike, he's got a better exit than I've had, so he's managed to pull away from it on the main straight. I'm not sure if I've got a car next to me or not. think I have now. So again, I could have been a little bit wider coming in there, taking a little bit more of the left-hand side. So around there, back onto, back down into Montreal. And now it looks like Barry Holmes managed to close up on me. Barry did qualify better than I did, so he must have lost a couple of places at the start. Now he's back. You can just listen to the car coming out of the corner. It really is not pulling with that 4-1 diff, unfortunately. So there we are through Palmer. I think I'm still sort of in striking distance of Mike and Dominic, but I've got some work to do to try and close up. It looks like, yeah, but a little bit. I can hear the wheels locking up a bit there, and just that behind, I can see the smoke as well. Just a bit of a view of Barry Holmes' car there. Here we go through Williams. I'm trying. I think I could have been a bit braver through there that time. I'm not using all of that curve on the run-off, and later in the race I do try and get that a bit better. So through Oggies again. It looks like Mike's getting fairly close to Dominic. There's Williams, back onto that Bentley straight. I think I can see Barry's fairly close to me here. Not sure whether he's going to be able to get a move in before the end of it's not much to call there. It looks like he's got the power just to drive past me, I think. Just depends how brave we both are on brakes. He's on the outside at the moment coming in here. You just see the shadow of his car. I think. Yes, I think I went a little bit wide there to give him room on the inside. But I think he has dropped back. So we went through there rather diplomatic, I think, and avoided any incidents. So here we go through the bomb hole there into Coram again. And you see that Mike is trying to challenge Dominic Mooney there in the red MGB. I think I managed to close up a little bit here under braking. I just feel the car just isn't pulling as well as I'd like out of those corners. But there we go, back onto the centre straight now. Lap 4 completed. And you can see it sort of evened up, opened up a little bit between Barry and also between Mike and Dominic in front. You might get to see it in a moment where sort of the rest of the field. I mean, we were all doing very, very similar times, so it wasn't as though this sort of. I think we had a mid group, all from sort of. If you sort of look down from almost from 7th all the way down to 20th, there was only sort of 2 or 3 seconds in the qualifying that separated us there. So it was it did make for close racing, which was good. You can see Barry Holmes just sort of closed up on me a little bit there. So here we go, round Palmer again. So 65 or 70 miles an hour through there. Again, it's a corner where you can try and be brave on. You've got a sort of a late turn in if you can. Down into Agostini again, so 2 gear changes down, that's third, that's second. Turning off. I don't know whether it's a hard one here. I don't know whether it's best off trying to use a little bit more of the road on the right hand side and a really late turn in, or as I did there, I think that did look a little bit on the early side. And also the same with Hamilton here, trying to wait as long as possible before turning in. Be as brave as you can. It does pay dividends. So back down to second, I think, here. For Oggies. Then a third coming to Williams, so 65 miles an hour through there. And back on, so it looks like I've managed to sort of close up on Dominic a little bit. You can see Mike Lillywhite, so he stretched his lead in front. So here we go, going down the Bentley straight to get under the bridge in a moment. Let's see behind where Barry is, whether he's managed to sort of close on me or not. But there's Dominic. Barry Holmes in the sort of it's a light blue, almost a minty bluey green MGB. He's sort of, I don't think he's closed up in it much damage. I managed to close up a little bit on Dominic there. So here we go through the bomb hole. This is Coram again, so 4th gear. And as I said, it does seem to just, for me, it really seemed to work well in my car. It just made it that little bit easier to drive. But it does mean you then got two gear changes down here into Murray's. So you go through there safely. My line was a little bit different as Dominic's, but that slide on the exit, that's ruined my chance on the straight. You can see here Barry's going to drive straight past me. It's a small mistake like that is all you need, just to lose half a second, but also just losing that speed of the car. and you're a sitting duck on a straight there. So now I've sort of got a bit more work to do, and again I'm not going as wide as I should be going into that corner. Looking again, I should be right over to the left hand side as much as I can, missing that first apex and getting the second one, but you can see the two cars in front have been through that corner much quicker than I was there. There we are, so two gears down into second from Montreal, through there, the side from the back there, but nothing too bad. Now into Palmer. So I'm trying to go a little bit quicker through there, but I think you hear the car sliding a little bit, so it possibly wasn't as, I think you can see by the two MGBs in front, they've managed to pull away a little bit. Okay, so heel into gear change down 2. That car is fighting it, it's fighting a bit there. So the wheel whips back, wants to sort of whip back across as the rear tyre slides. So up there through Hamilton now. See if I've done a decent job through there. So yes, I'm using a bit more of the exit there, and I think that does allow me to close up on those two lead cars. Through Oggies. Back onto the Bentley straight. That does look here. I'm not sure if Barry's going to be able to drive past Dominic here. It looks like they're certainly very close going into Bundle, which is the corner at the end of the straight. Let's see. So Barry's had to stay behind for that one, but it has allowed me. I think two of them back in there has allowed me to close it. And Dominic's made a mistake there, and he's on the grass. I don't know if I'm going to be able to squeeze through here or not, or whether he's going to come back. So I think I've got the inside here, so I've made the pass on Dominic there going into the bottom hole. Again, that was his mistake. Unfortunately, on the exit of Nelson, saw him leaving the circuit, and that's gifted me that place back. Here we go, so down through the gears again. Coram into Murray's. So going back up the centre straight here, we're about 15 minutes into the race now, so that is about halfway. With the Equipe GTS pit stop, the sprint races, there is no pit stop to worry about with these, so it's just a straight battle to the finish. Back down through the gears there, into Rich, this lovely sort of sweeping corner. Look at the speed, it looks about 80, managed to pull about 80 miles an hour through there, which is a good speed to carry. Back down here, now into Montreal. 40 miles an hour through here, and that's like really tight sort of right-hander. And again, the drive, you see Barry's car, he seems to get a great drive out of there. I couldn't seem to match him on that corner there, whereas on the later part of the circuit, I could get a little bit closer to him. A little bit of left foot braking there. I was testing through. There we are, so back down now, going into Agostini. I think Dominic's different, so hopefully you see a rear view in a minute, whether he's managed to catch up a little bit. I think he did on this lap, so there we are, back down, second gear. A hard sort of, it's a hard left-hander around there. Looks like Dominic managed to sort of gain some ground on me there. I think I've got a good line through Hamilton there, so I managed to, have a look in a minute. I think I'll close it to Barry just a tiny bit. And also through Oggies there, I think I managed to close up a little bit. So race is still definitely very much on between us. Let's see Williams now, see how he does through here compared to me. I think fairly even. I think again he's opened up that gap a bit actually. When you see us coming onto the straight there, I've managed to get away from Dominic a little bit. Again, I think he had these rear diff troubles with his car causing him drive issues. And then Barry, he's opened up a bit of a lead there, going down the Bentley straight up to the bridge there. So I sort of changed out to third gear there, down to second. You see Tim Greenhill, unfortunately, the yellow MGB, he had a bit of a knock. He's got pushed off the circuit there. I think he was running very well. He qualified fifth, and unfortunately, obviously a little bit. I think he had a little bit of tap from the rear, and I think in the end he didn't finish. I think he returned to the pits after that lap, which was lap 6. I think we're on at the moment. So here we are, coming to finish lap 6. So Dominic's gap behind is probably opening up maybe just a tiny bit. And again, I've gone to the inside here, which with hindsight, I don't think I should have bothered doing. I could have just stayed on the outside, got a better drive through the corner. Even though I would have been sort of directly behind Barry, it wouldn't have been a problem. That does just allow him to get away. That's a bit of a waste of a gear change there down to fourth. That just wasn't needed. So yeah, around here, second gear, and I think Barry's just he's not going as tight as I am into the hairpin there. So where that's just allowing him a little bit more speed through there as well. So here we go through Palmer. Let's see how brave I was on this one. So again, I could have been a bit faster there. I'm not using quite all the exit curb. And down into D'Agostini again. Down to Agostini. You see Barry, yeah, Barry's got a little bit wide there. I don't think that was intentional. I think he's possibly carried a little bit too much speed down. That's compromised his exit a bit. So let's go come up into Hamilton now. Let's see how that goes. So through there safely, good speed there, I think, on that time. I managed to close up on Barry a tiny bit there into Oggies. So through there into Williams. Looks like Dominic has dropped right back there. So whether this is when he had his problems, he sort of he certainly the gap to him now is going to be more than 2 seconds, I think that is. So here we are back on the back straight. I think the gap between us is sort of fairly even. I don't think I'm trying to sort of close up a little bit here in the brake. I'm trying to be as brave as I can there, but obviously you don't want to lose the car and it all goes wrong. I didn't think Barry's entry into Nelson there was quite what he wanted it to be. So here we are into the bomb hole. I think yes, I've definitely managed to close up a little bit here. Let's see how we get on into Coram. Hard cars, very hard corner to pass on Coram. Is obviously you've got to be very, very brave and very, very committed. I think usually I would prefer to try and do it on the main straight instead when it's all a little bit easier. So through there safely, but again, a good line from Barry, and he's managed to get out of there pretty well. Looks like he's got no issues going up the straight. So let's see what we do going into Ridge now. Again, I've gone for that inside, which I think hindsight's an absolute waste of time. Although I've gone back a little bit, but I should have just stayed on the outside rather than trying to go on the inside into that corner. So here we are, dropping down into Montreal again. Hard round. Just managing the tyre slide coming out of the corner there. Again, I'm using just a little bit of left foot there, going into Palmer, but with hindsight, I don't think it did me any favours. But it is a technique I'd like to try and practice a bit more of. I think it does have some certain benefits on certain circuits. Let's have a look at now. So Barry again, he does take a little bit of a different line there to me, sort of going in a bit deeper. But saying that, it does look like he's come out there a bit quicker than I have. But Dominic has dropped back as well. Probably 5 seconds behind now. Go through Hamilton. So I think I could be just a little bit quicker through there. Down to Hawkins again. Into Williams around just over 60 miles an hour through there that time. And again, Barry does seem to just manage to open up on that straight. I'm not quite sure the difference in powers between our two cars, and I think his technique was very good going into the corner there as well. He does seem to be able to pull away from me on that coming into the main straight, where I managed to close up a little bit under the brake here. Possibly a little bit too much speed coming in there. Probably trying to be a bit too brave. I should have probably just eased up a touch, and I think I would have made that a little bit smoother, that corner there. So around Coram again there. I managed to close up a little bit. I'm still way too far back to try and make any kind of move on Barry there. So there we are, through back onto the start finish straight, which is the centre straight. You can just see the pit entry there on the right hand side. And I think I managed to stay on Barry's tail fairly well through that section this time. see, and again moving to the inside, which is a bit of a waste. You see it has allowed Barry just to ease away from a bit going into that corner. So we are Montreal again. So I tried it a little bit wide on the way in, a little bit tighter on the way out, but not made a huge difference. Barry's using a little bit more of a curve on the exit than I am. Let's try Palmer again. So I think I'm possibly looking at that again. It looks like I turned a little bit too early for that one. Pushed me out a bit wide on the exit. I think a later turn in would probably benefit me there. So here we are, down to Agostini again. You can really hear those tyres squeal there as cars working hard to sort of get traction, going all the way from sort of 90 miles an hour right down to 40 for the corner. Over 65 miles an hour from here through Hamilton. It's hard on the brakes again for Oggies. Then we've got this little short straight here for Williams. Through there, back to the Bentley straight. It looks like Barry's managed to open up a bit more of a gap, certainly compared to the previous laps. I've got some work to do to try and catch him up. But let's see how we do. And this seems to do well in the last 2/3 of the circuit. I do seem to be able to catch up on Barry a bit. In the first half, he does seem to pull away from me, so it's all sort of fairly even between us. There we are. Through Nelson safely. This is that bottom of the bomb hole again. And it's a lovely circuit to drive if you ever get the chance, Nestor, with the sort of the undulations coming into this back section. Really do make it a lot of fun. Okay, so both two Morris, I think looks like I managed to close up a tiny bit on Barry there, but like we said previously, this first part of the circuit is where he seems to pull away from me again. So centre straight there, you can see the pits on the right hand side. I think yes, luckily this time I was a bit more sensible, so I've kept it over to the left as long as I can. You see Barry's had a little bit of a wiggle there, but I think we've come out to that corner this time a lot closer between us. So I was pleased to sort of close on Barry a bit there, but again this corner seems to be one he was very good at. Got a bit, saying that we both got a bit wide through there. Fairly even without drive on the way out, but let's see how we get on going through Palmer. Just a little dab of left foot, let's see. Barry's beating, Barry's a little bit quicker than I was through there. Both using our exit curve as much as we can, down to Agostini again. Hard on the brakes there at about 200 metre board. You hear those wheels locking up and you just saw a puff of smoke in the wing mirrors as well. So Barry's got a little bit of a wobble there as well, so when that's allowed me to close up a bit. And again Hamilton here, I think I've got through there fairly well. That's a nice line through there that time. So close right back up on Barry there. I'm not going to find a way through before Williams though. So that's putting my car there probably wasn't the most sensible thing. I thought I'd probably just stay where I was behind Barry. I've got a quicker corner speed through Williams there for the Bentley straight, and you can see now Barry's probably opened up for half a second, possibly the very most gap from me there. But it does at least show that the race isn't over yet. So here we go, back down, front of the corner first of all, third gear. Hard on the brakes again, second gear here for Nelson. See Barry's made a little bit of a slip there, a little bit of a lock-up coming in, so that's allowed me to not quite get alongside him. But whether I'll be able to do anything coming into core up here, it's all getting a little bit on the tight side. So I've gone for the inside. It does take a little bit of doing there to try and put a move off on the inside there, so I decided to back out of that. But we're going round, we're certainly close together. Everything to play for now. I think we're probably on lap 8 or 9 at the moment, so I can't see from the readout where we are. But getting towards the final lap, that's for certain. So again, good line through the Riches there that time. It's able to stay on Barry. And he's gone for the middle of the circuit there. So I've tried to do this long one, sort of getting that apex coming to the end. But I think again, Barry's line through there and his drive out of it is certainly better than mine has been. So there we go, through Palmer. Yeah, not as close to Barry this time as I was on the last lap, that's for certain. Managed to open up a little bit of a gap from me. Agostini again down into second. Hear those brakes locking up. Through Williams there, using all of the exit curve that time. That has allowed me to close up on Barry quite well. Let's see this time. Out of August, going down towards Williams. I don't think I've got quite such a good line that time as he did. So Barry's opened up a little bit of gap to me there going onto Benwick Straight. No one behind me at all, so I've got no pressure from behind, which is always quite a nice place to find yourself. It's always find it a little bit harder when you've got someone right behind. So we go back down through the gears now. So third gear first of all for Brundle. See if I can close up the Barry a little bit coming into Nelson. Here we go. I think I have a bit, but whether I've got a little bit too fast, I don't know. Drive out wasn't too bad. So let's see if we can do anything coming into Coram this time. Barry sort of compromised his line a bit there through the bottom hole to take the sort of safer option to cover the inside. So I'm going to go around the outside and do the outside now at Coram. I think. Unfortunately, it's not going to work for me. And then unfortunately there, I think Barry had a little bit of a moment that caused me to lock the brakes up as well, and so we both sort of compromised each other's exits from that one. So back up the centre straight now. Yeah, it's probably going to be the last lap now coming off, I think, to see if anything can be done. So again, I've done that stupid thing of going a bit too close to the inside. Really should go a bit wider. I haven't lost too much time, so we're trying fourth now. Back down into second. Fairly close. But yeah, just haven't got enough drive coming out of that corner to try and make any kind of move on Barry there. So round Palmer we go. I think I've been fairly brave there. I can hear the rear tyre squealing. Has allowed me to possibly close up a little bit, but it's too far back to try and make a move. Just try and get down the inside there isn't going to happen, so sort of fall back in line a bit. Let's see. That's Agostini there through coming back towards Hamilton now. This corner I did enjoy. Through there, that's a good line for me there. You see Barry lifted his inside wheel there, and that's allowed him to close right back up. But whether I didn't really want to do a dive move on the last lap coming into the corner there, so I always let discretion play the best part of valor. Go around Williams. So this is probably the closest we've been, I think. So whether I can try and do anything coming into Brundle now, let's see. So I've got the inside line, but Barry's probably 3 or 4 car lengths ahead of me. So I try and be a bit braver on the brakes. So that was to close up a bit, but that door was always going to close. So catching nice and wide here coming into Nelson. So I managed to hang on to the back of him. Around the bottom hole there. Into Coram. I think Barry's going to take the inside line again. Again, it's a hard place to pass there. Coming into Murray's here again, it's a difficult place to try and get a move done, unless you're going to try and do a sort of a dive down the inside, which isn't really the sort of thing I like to do. So back up the centre straight now. I think we're going to see the checkered flag now. Let's see. Yeah, there's the checkered flag. So well done to Barry. He managed to stay ahead of me there, but a very enjoyable race all the same. Just said the car sort of cool off a bit now. So just to run through the classification of the race very quickly if I can. The winner of the race was Mark Ashton, number 87 in his TBR. Second was Alan Ross Jones in the Triumph TR4. Third was Mark Holmes in the MGB. Fourth, David Wenman in the White Morgan. Fifth, Ballard Tarzan in the MGB. Sixth, Neil Fisher in his MGB. Seventh was Harry Wilmot in his MGB. Eighth was Nick Mountford in the White TR4. Ninth was Ed Foster, good drive in his red MGB. 10th was Paul Mortimer and Healy. I think we saw him briefly at the start of the race. 11th was Mike Lillywhite in the MGB. 12th, Colin Kingsnorth MGB. 13th, Steve Winter in his MGB. 14th, Mark Turner, Austin Healy Sprite. 15th, Rob Compton in the Albert Courier. 16th was Barry Holmes in the MGB that we had this great race with us, and I was 17th overall in my MGB. And 18th we had Dominic Mooney, so he did manage to finish the race there. And Graham Bates, 19th in his MGB. 20th was Brian Small in the National MGB. 21st was Pete Shepherd, Austin Healy Sprite. 22nd was David Gillette. He was in an MGB that usually Simon Milner's driving. He's a good friend of mine. We always have a good race together when Simon's driving. 23rd was Nick Giles, Austin Healy Sprite. 24th, Nick Vince MGB. 25th, Tom Brent MGB. 26th, David Eales MGB. And 27th was Cathy Sherry in her MGB. I did promise her I'd do a whole lap of an in-car video, and that starts at 15 minutes on this video, where I do a whole in-car lap, especially for her. So that concludes our racing from Snetterton. Hopefully you'll join me next time. Next event will be Silverstone National on the 5th of October, and that'll be our last race of 2020. Many thanks. Bye.